It is Monday, September 18th, and these are today's headlines. New President Pro Tempore. Learn who Point Park University's United Student Government elected as their highest-ranking senator during an emergency meeting last week. Transgenders fight on. The Pentagon announces transgender members in the armed forces will be able to re-enlist. And the Speaker begins to speak. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan assembles a group from both sides in an attempt to save DACA. I'm Marrero, and this is On Point with Politics.
We want to welcome our viewers from Point Park University and all around the world. I'm Kimberly Keagy.
And I'm Marrero. We begin with our local stories. Point Park University's United Student Government sworn in their newly elected freshman senators today. Elections took place September 11th through September 13th via Point Sync. And I will be sitting down with some of these senators later in the program.
Vaughn Walker Montgomery, a two-term councilwoman in McKeesport, announced her candidacy this weekend. Walker was the first Black person and woman to run in the 35th District. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Walker Montgomery said, quote, "I am running again for the state representative seat because I believe we need a strong and independent voice fighting for our needs in Harrisburg. It has always been my intent, regardless of who decides to throw their name in the hat, to run again for this seat," end quote. Walker Montgomery announcement follows Democrat Austin Davis, who also announced that he would be running for Gergley's State House seat. In 2016, Walker Montgomery lost to Gergley in the general election. Mr. Gergley is waiting sentencing in November after he pled guilty to offenses related to an illegal gambling machine ring in the Mon Valley.
After the destructive forces of Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma hit the U.S. mainland a few weeks ago, state and local governments still struggle to recover and especially deal with the cost. According to CNN, these two hurricanes combined took the lives of 150 people and created around $132 billion in damages across many states. Discussion to increase the debt limit has been going on in Washington since 2014, and many representatives have urged for an increase in order to help those in need. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said to Fox News a few days after Hurricane Harvey, quote, "Without raising the debt limit, I'm not comfortable that we will get the money that we need this month to Texas to rebuild. That's our priority. We need to help the people in Texas, and we need to get that done." Luckily, last week, Congress approved a federal budget by a vote of 316 to 90 with a hurricane relief deal for the Hurricane Harvey victims. In this bipartisan vote counted with unanimous Democrat support. The 90 who were opposed were all Republicans. Meanwhile, Hurricane Irma passed north of Puerto Rico as a Category 5 storm, creating around $800 million in damages and leaving more than 1 million U.S. citizens without power. Due to Puerto Rico's territorial status, only a direct order from the president would allow federal funds to relieve the island, an order President Donald Trump made on September 7th. Even though as of right now, the relief deal is only meant for the Hurricane Harvey victims, the race for the debt ceiling opens up opportunity for help for those people, however, affected by Hurricane Irma.
The Pentagon announced transgender members of the military will be able to re-enlist for service, while Donald Trump's directive bearing transgender recruits is under review. Department of Defense spokesman U.S. Army Colonial Rob Manning told CNN, quote, "Transgender service members whose term of service expires while the interim guidance is in effect may the service members request re-enlist under existing procedures," end quote. This is the first time the Pentagon has explicitly acknowledged that transgender service members will be able to re-enlist, since Trump has issued a directive to the Pentagon banning transgender people from enlisting in the military in late August. A bipartisan group of senators also introduced an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act on Friday that would prevent the Defense Department from removing transgender people from military service. Republicans John McCain of Arizona and Suzanne Collins of Maine introduced this legislation.
A lot going on in politics now.
Yes, we're very busy.
Yeah, so now we're going to go on a short break. Stay tuned.
We are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
All right, guys, any questions on scripts? We good to go?
Yep,
right.
Should be good.
All right, great. All right, yeah, camera 3 set up right there. Camera 2, use the ball when you're moving this around, but set up for the 2 shots just right there. Weather, how we doing?
It go rain.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Sarah Mackin with you. The real host, Adrian Billon, was seen snuggling up against.
All right, prompter, we got everything in, we're good to go? Key Pro, everything loaded, we're good to go? All right, Tyler, any questions?
That shot looks fine.
3, 2, 1. Bring up camera 2. Open mics. Cue talent.
Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Blaine King.
Welcome back to On Point with Politics. Now, Cole, what's going on around the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, Danny's, in Pennsylvania news, Senator Pat Toomey recently met with President Donald Trump at the White House to discuss tax reform over dinner. Toomey only has positive things to say about the meeting, tweeting, quote, "Just finished a constructive bipartisan meeting at the White House on hashtag tax reform. I'm optimistic we'll find a way to get this done," end quote. In addition to his social media statement, Toomey also spoke to the Post-Gazette, echoing his statement by remarking that the meeting was, quote, "a very productive evening," end quote. Toomey informed the Washington Times that Trump wants the bill to, quote, "cut taxes for middle-income families in this country and give the American people a break," end quote. When explaining the reason for the tax reform, Toomey told the Washington Times, quote, "We haven't changed the tax code for many, many, many years, before we even had cell phones," end quote. Toomey believes that a tax reform bill will reach the president's desk by the end of December.
Thanks, Cole. Now let's check up with our reporters, Zachary and Tania.
Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you all for tuning in to On Point with Politics. I'm Zachary Brander. Former President Barack Obama announced his organization will host the first ever Obama Foundation Summit this fall. The summit will be held on October 31st through November 1st in Chicago, Illinois. In a video, according to USA Today, Obama said, quote, "We are bringing together hundreds of leaders from around the world for hands-on exchange of ideas in my hometown and the future site of the Obama Presidential Center, the city of Chicago," end quote. The foundation announced it will hold training days across the country for young people to learn how to put civics into action. The first 3 training days will be held in Chicago, Boston, and Tempe, Arizona.
To CNN, the United Nations passed sanctions on North Korea. The UN drafted a sanction on North Korea after the nation's 6th and largest nuclear bomb testing. The sanction is designed to complete 6 major goals. 2 of those goals include capping North Korea's oil imports and ending additional overseas contracts. A North Korean official reported that intense pressure from the United States could end with Washington facing, quote, "a very strong response with unbearable consequences," end quote. With On Point with Politics, I'm Tania Beatty.
Thank you, Zachary and Tania. Now, before we go on our last commercial break, our reporter Nick Tomaharello has some news regarding the Senate and the future of DACA. Nick?
Yes, Denise. According to Politico, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is assembling a group of politicians to find a solution that would allow the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, to continue, with both Democrat and GOP support. According to a prepared statement given on September 5th, Ryan said, quote, "However well-intentioned, President Obama's DACA program was a clear abuse of executive authority, an attempt to create law out of thin air," end quote. He continued to say, quote, "Congress writes laws, not the president, and ending this program fulfills a promise that President Trump made to restore the proper role of the executive and legislative branches," end quote. President Trump met with Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi at the White House for a sit-down dinner discussion Wednesday, September 13th, to, quote, "work on a plan for DACA." Afterward, both senators declared that they had made a deal with the president to replace the program. Trump early Thursday morning contradicted their statement by tweeting, quote, "No deal was made last night on DACA." Massive border security would have to be agreed to in exchange for consent. Would be subject to vote, end quote. Make sure to watch future episodes of On Point with Politics for continuing updates on the future of DACA.
Thank you, Nick. Now we'll be going on our last break, and when we come back, I will be sitting down with the new members of Point Park's United Student Government. Stay tuned.
Here on the Pioneer Sideline, we talk a lot about sports in the studio, but it's beforehand when the conversation is actually interesting.
I hope I have enough powder on. I don't want to be too shiny on camera.
No, Trevor, I think it looks good every week you pull it off.
Ah, thanks, Phil. Man, your hair looks great tonight, by the way.
You sure? Yeah, I mean, I got a new haircut, but it looks alright.
Hey, guys. Does this make me look fat?
No, you look great. You look great. Yeah, Kyle.
Thanks, I was really...
Sports! Yeah!
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the second floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
Well, no one showed up to the show tonight. Follow my lead. In 3, 2, take 2, open mics, cue talent. Good evening and welcome to UView News. I'm Josh Krupp. We begin with breaking news out of West Penn Hall. Ready, 3, take lower third. Traffic is backed up in the West Penn elevator line after elevator 1 broke down on the 7th floor. Lose lower third. Maintenance advises students to take the stairs to avoid delays. Ready, 2, take 2. In other news, no, you know what? I didn't sign up for this. We need crew. Join UView. Take alien hand transition.
Welcome back to On Point with Politics. I am now sitting down with the newly sworn in freshman senators for the United Student Government here at Point Park University. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
How are you all doing today?
Good.
So, getting started, the very first thing I noticed when I was reaching out to all of you was that everyone who decided to run was a female. How do you all feel about that?
I think it's good. I personally think it's very good that women are running for office now.
Any more thoughts?
It's very empowering when a bunch of women are getting together to run for office.
Well, I'm glad that you all are here. Now, I may have already talked to some of you already prior to this. However, the student body doesn't necessarily know who you are. So I'm going to give you all a little moment to introduce yourself to the student body so they know who you are. So just say, your name, your major, and why you decided to run.
All right, well, my name is Brittany Arp, and I'm from the School of Arts and Sciences. I'm a political science major, and I decided to run for United Student Government because I believe it'll help me in my experience because I want to run for Congress someday.
My name's Stephanie Bravo, and I am from Palm Beach, Florida, and I'm also from the School of Arts and Sciences, and my major is biological sciences. And I decided to run because I felt really involved in the school, and I feel like it would help a lot to be in one of those positions in the USG, so yeah.
My name is Reba Bartram, and I am a dance major, concentration in ballet. And I ran for USG because I've always been doing student government throughout high school, and I really like to be involved and be able to make a difference in the student life.
Hi, my name is Megan Ortego. I'm a cinema productions major, and I'm one of the COPA representatives. And I really want to get the message out there that cinema kids are also COPA kids.
Fair statement.
My name is Blaze Kelly. I am a business management major. I ran for student government because I like to be a part of organizations, and I feel that being a part of student government gets you really involved, and I'd like others to know about it.
Well, those are very good reasons, ladies. Now, you have you have a cause of why you ran. Now, what would you want your effect to be from your involvement in the student body?
All right, well, I'm on the Rules Committee, which is a committee that helps amend the Constitution so that students can understand it, so it's not in like legal jargon. So I hope
I have
to
read that. There's a lot going on there.
yeah, so I hope to amend it so we can all understand it and have a better school.
I'm in the Committee of Student Concerns, and a lot of people have concerns about like food and like things like that, and it's like good to know that the students do have a voice and it's not just gonna stay that way, that you can do something about it. So yeah.
I'm on the committee for finance, and I want everyone to have like their fair share of money with their clubs and being able to put different things and events on. So I want to help out with letting everyone be able to put on the events that they want.
I'm the Committee of Student Concerns also, and like she said, I want everyone to have a voice, and I just want to help. Yeah.
I'm on the Committee of Communications, and I would like people to know about student government and to get the word out, not only in social media, but also just publicly talking about it so everyone can know what's going on.
Yeah, tagging on to what you said, you guys don't know this as you girls just basically came into the school. However, the administration that's going on, their campaign was clarity. So, because not many people knew what USG was, what they did, and that's what they want to emphasize on. So, as you said, you're in the Committee of Communications.
Yeah.
Any of you ladies else are in the Communications Committee? No, so just you.
Yeah.
Now, to help the new administration with their clarity, like their mission of clarity, what it is that you would like to do?
Just building off my last answer, I want to make the rules of our Constitution more clear so our students understand it better.
Like a lot of people don't, like a lot of the freshmen at least don't know what USG is, and it's good like for USG to like get out there and like get people to know what it is and like know that USG does exist.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to like help out with spreading the word, especially for people that are coming and people that are looking at Point Park. I think it'll be good to further explain to them what exactly it is, because a lot of people like to be a part of student governments.
And also bouncing off of the student concerns things, I know a lot of people have concerns, but they never like share them because they don't think they're serious enough or that anybody cares, but like USG cares.
Yeah, student government can be a way to listen to others, and if you have a concern or something, we will listen and help out however we can.
Well, I want to thank you ladies for coming on to the show tonight. It was a pleasure meeting every single one of you, and hopefully the student body now knows who you guys girls are. And I keep saying guys, so it's like, but I'm like, no, they're all female, girls. So women power. So again, thank you for coming into the show, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning into On Point with Politics, and hopefully you guys stay on point with politics. Have a good night.